All right, today we're diving into something really critical. We're going to talk about what happens in those first few moments right after an emergency alarm goes off. You know, it's a time of total chaos, but it's also a moment where modern technology is completely changing the game and the odds of a safe outcome. So picture this. A fire alarm starts blaring, and immediately there's one question that matters more than anything else. Who is still inside the building? For so many organizations, that's a question they just can't answer with any real confidence. People are scrambling, managers are trying to do a head count, and every single second is just filled with pressure and unknowns. You see, the initial emergency, the fire, the chemical leak, whatever it is, that's the obvious danger. But the chaos that follows, the total lack of clear information, that becomes a second danger. And it's a huge one, because that confusion can slow down first responders and put even more lives on the line. For decades, the standard way to handle this was with, a clipboard? A paper roster? But let's be honest, in today's dynamic workplaces, that method isn't just a little outdated, it's completely broken. Let's dig into exactly why it just doesn't work anymore. I mean, just look at the difference here. A manual roll call is painfully slow. You're yelling one name at a time, and the whole process is just begging for mistakes. And that paper list, it was probably outdated the second it came off the printer. It doesn't account for visitors or contractors or the person who left early for an appointment. It just creates this massive bottleneck of panic right when you need absolute clarity. Okay, so if the old paper and panic method is out, what's the fix? Well, the answer is to replace all that chaos with data and certainty. And this is where a digital emergency mustering system really comes into its own. Now, the idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. The system knows exactly who is on site at any given moment, not just your employees, but every visitor and every contractor too. The second an alarm is triggered, it creates a live dynamic checklist. As people get to the safe assembly points or muster points, they are checked off that list in real time. And that's the real game changer, right? This isn't some static list that was printed at 9 in the morning and is totally useless during a 3 p.m. emergency. No, this is a live dashboard. It's accessible to everyone who needs it, from security to the CEO. It always reflects what's happening right now. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds pretty complicated, but the entire process is designed to be incredibly simple and intuitive, especially when you're under pressure. So let's just walk through it, from the moment the alarm sounds to that final welcome all clear. And the cool part is, this often uses tech that's already in place. Employees can just tap their existing work badge at a muster point. It's fast, it's instinctual. A visitor could scan a QR code on their phone. All this data flows into one central dashboard that basically becomes mission control for the evacuation. And often, it's triggered automatically by the fire alarm itself. It's all connected. The whole process really just breaks down into 4 clear steps. 1, the alarm goes off and boom, a live roster is instantly created. 2, people check in at their muster points. 3, and this is huge, supervisors can pull out a phone or a tablet and see a live view of their team, clearing them as safe or flagging anyone who's missing. And 4, after it's all over, the system gives you a perfect report for compliance and helps you improve your drills for next time. So, we've covered the what and the how. But now, let's talk about the why. What is the actual, real-world payoff for putting a system like this in place? Well, it all boils down to one incredibly powerful concept: certainty. This quote really just nails it. In a real evacuation, certainty is a safety tool. Knowing for sure that everyone is out, or knowing exactly who is still missing and where they might be, that isn't just data. It's actionable intelligence that tells first responders exactly where they need to go. And the benefits just ripple out from there. You get totally accurate headcounts, which leads to a much faster response. You suddenly meet and even exceed tough regulatory standards from places like OSHA. You get rid of all those human errors that are just bound to happen under pressure. And maybe most importantly, you build a much stronger safety culture, where drills stop being a chore and start being a real, data-driven chance to get better. Now, while pretty much any large facility can benefit from this, the technology has an immediate, massive impact in certain places. Think about manufacturing sites or huge warehouses with constantly changing shifts and temporary workers. Or for chemical and energy plants, the stakes are just incredibly high, so any uncertainty is unacceptable. And for places like schools or airports, trying to manage huge crowds in a crisis is a monumental challenge that these systems are literally built to solve. So as we start to wrap up, let's bring this all back to you. Let's shift the focus from the general idea to your specific workplace and a pretty personal question. Seriously, think about your own workplace, your last fire drill. Was it smooth, orderly, and did it leave you feeling confident? Or was there just a little bit of confusion, a little bit of uncertainty? Because in a real emergency, that little bit can make all the difference in the world. And look, being truly prepared isn't just about buying new technology. It has to start with a real risk assessment of your site. It demands regular training so the process becomes second nature to everyone, and it means having a solid plan for when things go wrong, like if the power or the internet goes down in the middle of everything. And that brings us to the final and really the most important question. When every single second counts, is a guess good enough? Is hoping everyone is okay the same as knowing they are? The whole goal of modern mustering is to replace that hope, to replace that guesswork with one single life-saving thing: certainty.